I gave a talk at Stanford's business school recently, and the students asked me, what am I most excited about in the ecosystem right now? Here's the answer that I gave them.
The main thing I'm excited about is one, the quality of talent in the ecosystem. So if I came to Stanford 10 years ago and was like, who here has worked at a fintech? None of you would raise your hand. And now it's like, oh, a bunch of you have. And that's very exciting. But if you dial that across the whole ecosystem, probably, and I don't just invest in repeat founders. I happen to have invested in a lot of repeat founders because there are a lot of repeat founders in a way that wasn't true 10 years ago. So about 60 to 70% of the portfolio is full of repeat founders. And these are folks who have built companies 1, 2, or even 3 times before. So one is just the quality of talent is better. And it's not just at the founder level, it's also for the founding team. If you've worked at 2 or 3 companies, especially if you've helped found them, and you're like, I need to hire a person who has this kind of sales expertise, or this kind of engineering expertise, or this kind of product expertise. You probably know 10 people in each of those functions that you can reach out to, and you know which ones of them might be in the right place in their career to join. Whereas if you go back, if any of you have watched any of the interviews I do with founders of later stage companies, I often like to think about in this context, like John Stein at Betterment or Ken Lin at Credit Karma. 2009, they're both starting companies. And there are these big existential questions like, who do I hire? I don't know. Like, I've worked at a big bank or an asset manager, and none of these people are entrepreneurial. How do I build it? Well, if you're Betterment, you need like a stock trading API. Well, that doesn't really exist. It comes along to exist a little like a year-ish later or so, and it's Apex. Who do you raise from? No idea. At that point in time, Ribbit, I forget what year Ribbit is actually founded, but like they're just getting started. QED is still kind of a family office. A16Z doesn't have a fintech practice. So you have no idea who to hire, how to build things, who to raise from. If you fast forward today, you've got a lot better talent. All of those questions are very answerable. And then if you look at the size of the market, the amount of revenue captured by fintechs versus incumbents, it's like 2%-ish. So it effectively means that the entire market is still there if you know where to look. If you don't know where to look, you're going to see a lot of derivative ideas and very competitive spaces. But if you know where to look, there's some really big, interesting opportunities. And people say, like, what categories am I excited about? I always struggle with it because if I had to categorize the 28 investments I've made, I'd probably put them in 11 different categories. So I've done things in wealth tech, I've done things in prop tech, insure tech, fintech in the intersection of healthcare, fintech in the intersection of human resources, vertical SaaS enablement, so embedding financial products into vertical software, financial infrastructure, bank tech, so selling tech into banks as the buyer. And all those companies are very, very different and very, very interesting in their own right, and not like anything I'd seen, call it 10 years ago. So it's the size of opportunity, the quality of the talent, and the diversity of the kinds of opportunities are all very exciting.